If you've ever wondered why you keep dating the same type of person, like the universe is recycling your exes with new faces, the answer is in your birth chart. And until you see it, the cycle just keeps repeating. Today, I'm breaking down the 4 chart placements that explain why you keep attracting the same patterns in love. Your 7th house, your descendant, your south node, and Saturn. In just a few minutes, you'll understand exactly why this keeps happening and how to spot that pattern before it plays out again. And I'm your host, Alina. Let's begin. The 7th house is the biggest clue when it comes to love and relationships. Whatever sign rules it and whatever planets land here, that's the script you keep replaying. Think of it like the kind of movie you keep watching even if you've already seen the ending. Each planet changes the story of your relationship. So let's break it down. What happens when Venus, Mars, Pluto, and beyond land in your 7th house? With the Sun in your 7th, relationships act like mirrors. Partners reflect back your identity, for better or worse. At first, it feels like love completes you. But over time, you realize those mirrors aren't there to replace your light. They're there to show you how to claim it. You'll keep attracting partners who highlight both your strength and your shadows until you learn how to stand fully in your power. And if you think that's intense, wait till we get to the moon. With the moon in the 7th, emotions rule your relationships. You are drawn to nurturing partners, but also ones who stir up your moods. Love feels like oxygen. You can't live without it. But here's the lesson. Your partners can't carry all your feelings for you. Until you learn to hold yourself, you'll keep falling into bonds that feel like home but slip into codependency. And Venus brings a completely different story. Venus in the 7th makes you magnetic. Love finds you easily. The shadow? Dependency. It's easy to lose yourself in romance, mistaking chemistry for alignment. Being adored feels intoxicating, but beauty and charm can't sustain love without compatibility. The lesson is learning the difference between being desired and being truly loved. But Mercury, that changes everything. With Mercury in the 7th, communication drives everything. You attract witty, challenging partners, but the trap is overthinking love. You can't logic your way to intimacy. Relationships aren't essays to be edited, they are lived. The lesson? Listening is just as powerful as speaking. Now let's talk about the heavier hitters. Pluto, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and the outer planets. And this is where patterns really get deep. Let's talk about Pluto in the 7th. This isn't lighthearted dating. It's obsession, transformation, all or nothing love. Meet someone with this energy and it feels instant, magnetic, like you've known them forever. The chemistry is undeniable, but so is the chaos. I'm not here to sugarcoat this. These are the relationships that strip you bare, forcing you to face your shadows and rebuild stronger. And here's the truth. You'll keep attracting that type of intensity until you learn how to hold your power instead of giving it away. And if you thought Pluto was intense, wait until you learn what happens with Mars. Mars in the 7th brings passion. Love feels like fire. You're drawn to bold, fiery partners who excite you but also challenge you. High chemistry, high conflict. The key lesson? Channel that fire into growth instead of letting it burn everything down. Passion doesn't have to equal chaos. And where Mars brings fire, Jupiter brings expansion. Jupiter in the 7th feels lucky, partners expand your world, open doors, help you grow, but the shadow is over-idealizing. You might expect relationships to solve everything or commit too fast because it feels so good. The lesson is growth with perspective, learning that expansion is beautiful, but it's not a cure-all. But Neptune takes it into dreamland. Neptune, in the seventh, makes love feel like a fairy tale. Magical, otherworldly, inspiring. But boundaries blur. You might fall for potential or ignore red flags because the fantasy feels so good. The lesson? Balance dreams with clarity. Love can be magical, but it also has to be real. And if you thought Neptune was hazy, Saturn brings the harshest reality check of all. Saturn, in the seventh, makes every relationship feel like a test. Love doesn't come easy here. Commitment is delayed, or it feels heavy with responsibilities. You might be drawn to older partners or ones who force you to grow up fast. But Saturn's gift is endurance. When love finally arrives, it lasts, built on respect, structure, and staying power. The challenge? Patience. Saturn won't let you skip ahead. You have to do the work. And that's the truth of the seventh house. It acts like a mirror. Whatever sign rules it, whatever planet sits there, that's the story that keeps showing up in the people you meet. Different faces, same cycle. And once you recognize it, that's the moment you break free. That's when you stop repeating the cycle and start choosing differently, choosing better. Then there's the Descendant. The Descendant is one of the most overlooked parts of the chart, but it's a game changer. If your ascendant or rising sign is how you move through the world, then the Descendant is the other side of the coin, the part of you you don't always see, but can help being drawn to in others. It sits on the cusp of your seventh house, and it describes the energy you are magnetized to in relationships. Think of it as the doorway into your partnerships, the traits you crave in other people, but also the qualities you are meant to develop in yourself. Take a Descendant in Cancer, for example. You'll notice you keep pulling in nurturing emotional partners. They feel safe, comforting, like home. But the deeper reason they show up is to remind you that you need to soften too, to let yourself lean on others instead of always being strong. A Capricorn Descendant flips the script. You'll attract ambitious, disciplined, maybe even intimidating partners. They mirror back the need for structure and responsibility in your own life. You're not just craving them, you're craving that strength in yourself. With the Scorpio Descendant, the attraction is magnetic, undeniable. You're drawn to partners who feel deep, mysterious, transformative. These connections pull you into emotional territory you didn't know you had, forcing you to face your own shadows. A Pisces Descendant plays out differently. You meet dreamers, healers, artists, people who inspire you but can also blur your boundaries. They're here to show you compassion and imagination, but the lesson is learning where to draw the line so you don't lose yourself. And if your Descendant is an Aries, expect fiery, bold, impulsive partners who push you out of your comfort zone. They are not here to play it safe. They're here to show you courage, to remind you that sometimes you need to take the leap instead of waiting for the perfect moment. The truth is, the Descendant isn't just about who you want to date, it's about who you're becoming. Every time you meet someone who fits that energy, it's like the universe is holding up a mirror and saying, this is the part of yourself you're meant to integrate. That's why it feels so magnetic and faded. You're not just chasing them, you're chasing the missing piece of you. And even beyond the partners you're drawn to, there's an even bigger force pulling the strength: the South Node. This point in your chart is a major key to why you keep meeting the same kind of people. Think of it as the part of your chart that represents the past, what's familiar, what you've already mastered in some way. It's like muscle memory. You don't even have to try, you just fall into it. That's why when someone's planets hit your South Node, the connection feels instant. You meet them and it's not awkward. It's like you've already known each other for years. You finish each other's sentences. You share the same jokes. You feel comfortable right away. And maybe that's because in some sense you have known them before. The South Node carries that deja vu energy. But here's the catch. The South Node isn't about where you're going. It's about where you've been. And when a relationship is built too heavily on that point, it can feel like you're looping back into old cycles you thought you left behind. Here's an example. Imagine someone's Venus, their planet of love, lands on your South Node. The attraction is magnetic. You feel like you've been in love with them for lifetimes. And for a while, it's intoxicating. But over time, it can start to feel like deja vu in a heavier sense. The same arguments come up, the same endings, the same lessons you thought you'd already learned. That's the South Node pulling you back into comfort, because it's easier to repeat the past than step into the unknown. And that's the lesson of the South Node. Those relationships aren't bad, they're teachers. They remind you of what feels safe, but also of what's holding you back. They're addictive because they're familiar, but eventually they'll drain you if you stay there too long, because the South Node isn't where your growth lives. The truth is, every South Node connection is really pointing you toward your North Node, the place you're meant to grow into, even if it's uncomfortable. It's like the universe saying, yes, this feels good, but it's not where you belong anymore. You've already done this story. It's time to write a new one. And just when you think you've figured it out, astrology throws in the biggest lesson of all: Saturn. Saturn is the teacher, the taskmaster, the contract you didn't even know you signed. When Saturn shows up in your chart or in your relationship synastry, it's not light, casual energy. It feels heavy, serious, restrictive. Like you're suddenly responsible for someone else's growth as well as your own. It can feel like dating responsibility itself. But here's the part that people miss. Saturn isn't there to punish you. It's there to shape you. Saturn is like the professor who refuses to pass you until you actually master the material. It will keep showing up again and again in different phases until you actually learn the lesson it's asking of you. Boundaries, patience, self-respect. Saturn won't let you skip ahead. It makes you do the work. But when you graduate for life. For example, if your South Node is in Pisces, you'll attract people who need saving. The artist who's always in crisis, the dreamer who can't get grounded, the partner who always pulls you into their chaos. And you lose yourself in their emotions until you learn the Saturn lesson of boundaries. Until you realize, love isn't rescuing, it's respecting. And if someone's Saturn lands on your Venus in Synastry, that's karmic contract energy. This isn't just a partner, it's a teacher. The connection might feel restrictive at first, like they're asking too much of you or you're never enough for them. But underneath it all, Saturn is teaching you how to build love that lasts. It's not about butterflies. It's about commitment, structure, and growth. So why do you keep dating the same person over and over? Because your chart is teaching you. Every relationship is a classroom. Some lessons are gentle, some are brutal. But All of them are designed to move you closer to who you are meant to become. You're not cursed, you're not unlucky, you're learning. And the moment you recognize the pattern, that's when the cycle finally starts to break. If you're tired of dating the same soul in different bodies, here's the secret. Your chart already gave you the blueprint. The 7th house, the Descendant, the Southern Node, and Saturn. These aren't curses. They are the fingerprints of your patterns. Astrology doesn't lock you into fate. It hands you the map. Those placements explain why you keep attracting the same storylines, why love feels like deja vu. But once you recognize the script, you get to rewrite it. The moment you see the pattern, you stop falling for it. You're not being punished. You're being trained for the love you're actually meant for. The universe will keep handing you the same lesson until you decide you're ready to graduate. And if you think this explains a lot, wait till I show you how composite charts reveal the actual soul contract of your relationships. That's in my next video. Don't miss it. So drop it in the comments. What's that one placement in your chart that feels like the ultimate test? Call it out, because naming it is the first step in breaking free. And watch my next video right here. And I'll see you there. Bye!